All right, Filippo, let's do some rapid fire question and answers. Let's start with what's the most overrated trend in transformation right now?
Well, the perception that technology will fix everything, particularly when it comes to AI, and that is the starting point. That is not true at all.
That's a good
And Tony, what is the most underrated capability in GBS leaders that they would need, rather?
I think the most underrated capability for GBS leaders right now is figuring out your business outcomes and the metrics around the business outcomes. Most GBS leaders tend to think of business outcomes as something that'll happen if they do a lot of activities. In reality, you have to start from the outcomes and work backwards. Let's take the next question, Filippo, which is, if you could give one piece of advice to a new head of GBS, what would that be?
I would recommend to keep in mind that the importance of the balance. It is about motivating people in the face of perhaps doing some salary arbitrage and outsourcing, at the same time innovating, bringing in new technologies, AI for one, but importantly, staying with the fundamentals. The skills people need to be successful, continuous innovation and leadership in the business, and always thinking about what is the value creation we bring to the business at every touch points. And let me move on with that, Tony, to yet another question. What is the biggest waste of money that is happening in your experience in transformation management?
In my opinion, the biggest waste of money is actually having the wrong objectives for the entire transformation program. It's a little bit, Filippo, like, we tend to set the goals of transformation in tactical outcomes, implement a platform, change a process. In reality, the evaluation of the company or the government entity or nonprofit is really driven by a few metrics. It could be the Wall Street metrics, it could be, government performance metrics, or nonprofit performance metrics. So I believe every transformation that doesn't have a direct line of sight into those outcomes risks doing a lot of activities and wasting money. Let me ask you this question, Filippo. Complete this sentence. Transformation fails when leaders
become very tactical with the best intention to be quick and fast and deliver value to the business. They focus on early wins, which are not sustainable on the long run. So this becomes very, very dangerous. Staying to the fundamental models, to what really works, is of paramount importance. And let me ask you this, Tony. What was the one thing every Fortune, say 500 CEO should know about transformation?
If I were a king, I would have every Fortune 500 leader know that there are surprising disciplines to driving transformation. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. And I know your company may be different and your situation may be different, but the basic principles, the methodologies, and the models that constitute successful deliverable of transformation outcomes, they're out there, they exist. And before you do anything else, you have to go find out the most appropriate model and apply it to yourself. Let me move to the next question, Filippo. What would you tell your 30-year-old self about building transformation capability?
Well, I would say there is a method to the madness.
Yes.
And there is not something that you have to necessarily invent yourself and being amatorial. But there is a lot we can learn and the organization can learn. So my recommendation to myself would be build the skills, the capabilities in the organization. Common language, common know-how, and from there start experimenting and generating value in an iterative way. And so, Tony, now one more question. What is the transformation myth that you believe needs to be eliminated, will need to die eventually?
The number one, in today's context, it would be AI is the answer to your question. And you and I know, and we joke about it and things like that. But the reality is that it's a little more nuanced than that. It may be a myth that the solution is AI was the question. The reality is AI also cannot be ignored. So the nuance that we need to bring in there is what part of AI can I not start using right now? And that's really where I would start. Let me ask you the next question, Filippo. What technologies are you most excited about at this moment for GBS?
Well, I have to say, it probably does not surprise. I am super intrigued by AI because we don't know yet what is the full potential. So that's, from an intellectual standpoint, is highly stimulating to think about what we could explore about AI. That being said, there is a place to roll for many other digital technologies. Think about machine learning, API, optical recognition. There is an important role to play at different stages of the process, but definitely AI is coming in a different way. And then one final question, Tony. What type of what keeps, in your view, GBS leaders, up at night, as the going, as the saying goes, and or what should keep them up at night?
Yeah, this is a dichotomy, isn't it? Because most GBS leaders are up at night, because of operational issues, or maybe they're worried about their people, or they're worried about, how to make sure that their efforts are successful. What really should keep them up at night, Filippo, is the question of, is my work becoming a commodity? What distinctive value am I creating? What is it that only I and GBS can do, that no BPO vendor, that no offshore location can do? And that's really the true value and the true measure of a strong GBS leader.